All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this timing research special presentation. My name is David Kosmeter, and I have arranged for Dean Jenkins to join us tonight to talk about free tools to find great trades, or free AI tools to find great trades. So just a reminder, of course, this presentation is for educational purposes only. Trading is not suitable for all people, and please consult a financial advisor and only trade with money you can afford to lose. This is being recorded and will be available on TimingResearch.com as soon as I can get the recording processed and posted. Also, if you search for Timing Research on YouTube, Substack, or your favorite podcast app, you can find the recordings there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dean Jenkins.
Okay, hey, thanks, David, for inviting me to come on. We've been working together for several years now. I always enjoy it, and I enjoy having the traders. Some folks I think I know, but yeah, I'm a trader. I like talking about trading and finding new ideas. So I've been working for a while on exploring artificial intelligence tools for trading, and yeah, come up with some ideas. I wanted to share them with you guys. I call it AI meets ROI, machine learning, human judgment, better trades. And, the idea is here, keep it simple. Let's use some free or nearly free tools. There's lots of other stuff available. We'll talk about that a little bit. But let Chat GBT scan for the ideas is my thought, and then let our experience as traders do the trading. And Steve said he's using Ichimoku Cloud. Yeah, I use it too in my chart analysis. I'll actually show that. Okay. So AI is everywhere. It writes, it trades, if you let it, may predict market moves. It's amazing. It's powerful, right? But may I ask you a question? Are you ready to turn your trading account over to AI? And I had AI make a graphic for me. So I'm not there just yet to turn my account over to AI, to a robot or to software. Um, I was using Chat GBT and I said, "Hey, make a graphic of a monkey with a shotgun." And it goes, "No, I'm not allowed to do that. But how about a monkey trading?" So I said, "Yeah, okay." So I think that's a pretty funny picture. Um, so I think AI has a place. And it can help for sure, right? And I'm going to show how I use it. I'm just going to do a real quick demo here, right? So here's ChatGPT, and you can use this for free, and it's not the only one out there. And Steve says he likes the art, loves the art. Thank you. Okay, I got the plus version, so it's like 20 bucks a month, which just means I get more queries and maybe some more depth of the information, right? But in terms of trading, I've just played with this and came up with some queries that I've copied and kind of tested and refined. And so I can type something like this in. I just pasted this in, right? Hey, give me a list of US stocks trading, I only want real stocks. New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, average daily volume over 1 million shares, optionable, and are currently in a technical oversold territory based on RSI below 30 or recent price action. Focus on potential bullish reversals with recent signs of support or basing pattern. Okay, so there's kind of a lot there, right? And I use Thinkorswim to scan. I use some of the tools at Schwab to scan. I use TradeStation. I've got some other stuff. I've been scanning for trades for a long time, but I'm always open to a new idea, right? It's like, hey, if there's a new way to find stuff. Well, why not? Why not use it? And this makes it pretty easy. So this one is looking for an oversold, something that's oversold and is maybe found support and is ready to rebound. Okay. Now this was a great query like a month ago after the initial tariff thing and the market went down and a lot of stuff was oversold. So this was a great query and it turned up some fantastic results. Now, not so much. So okay, it said, hey, here's United Health Group. That's one idea. Here's a chart, gives you the reason. At this point, I don't really care. I'm not going to read, why it thinks it's good and all this stuff. Because I'm going to go look at it on a chart. All I want is some ideas, right? And they said, okay, here, this, I've obviously heard of United Health, ADS Tech. Well, I never heard of them. Symbol ADSE. Okay. So I got some ideas, right? That's all I'm really looking for. I'm gonna go put them on my chart and see how they look. And that's not the only query we could run. In fact, I could take the same query, right? I'm going to use this over and over, right? U.S. stocks, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, overlaying shares optional. But I can just say, I can get rid of all this oversold stuff, and I could say something else, right? Like good, bullish, swing trade candidate. Okay. Now, I'll talk about it a little bit. In terms of Chat GBT, what does it do? How's it doing this? What does it not do? Right? What does this data mean? Um, but here, just real quick, here they said, hey, Apple looks good for a swing trade. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, AMD, Tesla. Okay. And then it says, hey, you can go look at these other places too. Again, am I going to go kind of, cover my eyes and go long on Apple or Tesla or something like that? No, but it's given me ideas, so I can apply my judgment and just surface things that maybe I hadn't thought of. Yeah. And then I'm going to show you some other interesting stuff you can do once you do find a trade that you kind of like. And ChatGPT actually becomes, almost like a tutor and coming up with ideas and other ways to trade that I just hadn't thought about. And it's like, go, hey, give me some different option strategies if I want to go long on Apple, and it'll kick out a handful of, oh, I never thought about that, and let me go read more about what does this mean, and so it's actually a cool learning tool as well. All right, so hey, there's lots of AI trading offerings, and I'm driving around my car, I'm listening to satellite radio, and I hear commercials for a company. I won't name it, but it's like you don't have to know anything about trading, right? Just sign up, fund your account, and turn it over to our software, and we'll go make you rich. Yeah, I'm just not there yet, right? If you do a quick Google search, there's over 15 AI-powered trading platforms available today. Bunch of different features, right? I love technology. I think it's cool. I'm a huge fan, but I try to use it where it works, where it's been proven, or if it's not proven, to use it in a place that ain't gonna hurt me. Um, I've been using a Roomba for 10 years, right? And they've been refining vacuums, robot vacuums for over 20 years. Thing still bumps into the walls, makes me want to sing the song Three Blind Mice, watching it run around the room. It gets stuck under furniture, right? You know, and I'm just not ready to hand my money, my trading account over to a robot just yet. So I suggest, hey, we can leverage this and apply our own knowledge and experience, right? I call it AI meets ROI. And I mentioned, after the initial tariff shock and the market corrected, it was down, 20%. I was using that query and we actually came up with some super good trades, right? Like right now, Peloton has shown up as a good trade, and I'm actually loving this as a swing trade. But ChatGPT actually identified PayPal as an oversold candidate. Looked like it was getting ready, back here. We traded that and cut this move. That was phenomenal. Same with Twilio. I've heard of Twilio, but I wasn't looking at it in terms of a swing trade. Same time frame, right? We caught this move up, and Cisco, very, very similar. It showed, hey, these are some oversold stocks that look like they could be good trades. Turned out they were. So, actually using this for good effect. And Richard Wills says, all I do is scalp the ES. How can AI help my trading? You know what you can do that, if you don't have another source, you can use AI to go, hey, what are the known planned events? Big earnings, big economic reports. potential disruptions to the market and kind of lay out a calendar and a roadmap, things you either want to trade around or let them happen and then try to catch the reaction, right? So that's a tool if you don't have something already to really be on top of um, events that affect the market. So that's one thought. In terms of identifying stuff, and Steve Yetman, Morning Mover, says Thinkorswim Morning Movers. That's a good one too, right? Uh, Again, it's just, this is another tool in the arsenal, right? So, like I said, there's a bunch of paid stuff out there that I'm just not ready to, kind of blindly turn my money over to or to even turn on for trading, right? Even just for signals. And some of this stuff's expensive. And um, Chat GBT does not have by itself a live feed. So when I say it's go looking at charts and stuff, it's not doing a live feed and analyzing charts and indicators. Okay, so that's important to know. Uses delayed or inferred data. So some of these platforms do have real time, and you can get plugins and APIs to get real time data into Chat GPT and then to enhance its function for a cost, right? But in other, paid tools, hey, it's kind of limited to how they built it and the presets. It often lacks the rationale. It's like a black box. Like, here's a signal, go trade this. Why? You know, give me a reason. Tell me the thinking, right? And it could separate you from your trading process, right? We all hopefully have, a trading system, set of rules, risk management, criteria, and just kind of following signals from some automated thing, I think has a chance to pull us out of there, out of our disciplined trading. And so I'm not ready to do that, right? Where if we're using, Chat GBT or a similar free or nearly free um, large language model offering, right? Hey, it's low cost or free, you can fully customize, and modify the prompts that you want to use. It can add structure and input to your trading system, can reinforce your decision making because it's not really just telling you go do this and then you have to break your rules to do it. It's just giving you ideas, right? There's no blind trust. You stay in control, and you can build this and just, as inputs into your own trade funnel and qualification system. So I like it as a um, Scott Smith says, can I recommend a good prompt for finding possible credit spreads? Well, with a credit spread, right, you want uh, the stock to trade within a defined range. And so I would play around with prompts that help you find things that, maybe they have a elevated implied volatility so you can get some premium, but you know, it would stay within your strikes so you can, get the max payout on your credit spread. But, just play around with that and see if you can develop something that you know, a good way to test that is to have a candidate that you like and go, this is what's going to be an awesome credit spread or a swing trade or whatever, and then start building a query until it returns that one, and you go, okay, I think I'm dialing it in here. So kind of back into it. All right. So in terms of Chat GBT for trading, what is it doing, right? And maybe you guys know this, maybe others don't. Just a quick review, right? So it's a large language model, and it's trained on a staggering amount of information, books, you know, hundreds, thousands of books covering trading strategy, trading psychology, years and years of articles from the financial news, market analysis, commentary, academic research papers, web content, blog posts, forums, public websites where real traders are sharing ideas. And then instructional content. There's a bunch of free stuff on the web, Investopedia and other sources, right? And so the ChatGPT has access and has, you know, learned all that information. Just kind of puts it right at your fingertips instantly. And what that means for us, right, is when we prompt ChatGPT, we're tapping into this digital brain trained on, literally decades of wisdom and the conversation that real traders are having every day. And so it kind of bridges historical knowledge with evolving real world, real time information. Helps us generate smarter, faster ideas. And I like this, and I wrote this in the middle here, right? It said it's kind of like if you got to go into a room where there's 1,000 traders, right, talking about, hey, what do I like? Why do I like it? What am I watching? And you get to listen in, right? Kind of eavesdrop on all these folks. And what setups are you watching? What patterns are there? What headlines are, you get to eavesdrop on this, listen in, right? And so that's what Chat GBT is doing is listening into these conversations and taking all this accumulated wisdom and information to bring context. It's like, wow, this is great, right? But it doesn't, if it's listening in on the room, it doesn't know who's right, you know, who has a real edge, who's just, blowing smoke, who's guessing, right? That's where we come in. Right. So we get to listen in on these conversations and pick what it is, the information we want, and go, okay, well, that was an interesting return, from my question. Let me go look at it on a chart, right? Because that's where it really happens. So, what it can do well, it can just scan vast amounts of data really, really fast, as the comment says here, synthesizes it quickly. Yeah. It can spot patterns, condition based on criteria that you define. It can surface ideas you may not even have known about or noticed. Can summarize news, talking about day trading, scalping the ES. It's like, hey, what are all the big events coming up, right? Um, and it can listen in on all these conversations. So that's super powerful, right? What it can't replace is your judgment, right? It can't tell the difference. It doesn't know who's right or who's wrong, right? Um, uh, it can't tell the difference between the noise and the signal in a volatile market. It doesn't know your risk tolerance, your capital, or your time frame. So if you go, hey, what's a good swing trade? Bullish swing trade right now. You kind of have to tell it, right? That would last a day or a week, right? That would be appropriate for a $25,000 account, or um, but even then, it doesn't really know your rules, right? And you can kind of go overboard and too restrictive in your prompting, so it doesn't know that. It won't replace discipline. It won't stop you from chasing trades, over trading, ignoring your stops, your position sighting rules. It's not going to do that for you. It actually can help you if you go, hey, if I want to use a 2% risk rule, right? And my entry's this, my stop's that, it'll do the math, right? And if you go, I want to bet the farm. Well, okay, go bet the farm, man. Your call. It can't, and it can describe a pattern, but only you know what has worked for you, right? And there's plenty of different trading systems that work. A lot of it depends on the person and right, what are you comfortable with? What makes sense to you, right? So it doesn't know that. Only you know what you're comfortable doing, what you've been successful doing, and to have, your online buddy here feeding you new ideas into your processes. Well, that's a pretty good gift, actually. Okay. All right. So we've talked about it. I demoed it a little bit. I'll demo it again. Let's put it into action, right? So you were invited to download a PDF when you signed up, and it's got this prompt. And on that PDF, it's also got some more instructions about how to use it and how to modify it, right? And let's just do some more. Let's just have some more fun with it, with kind of a live. So it came back in terms of oversold. It said, hey, UNH and this other energy company, right? Were decent trades. And the first thing I'm going to do after it tells me that is I'm going to, okay, UNH, huh? Um, I'm going to talk about a trade. I want to see a chart. And UNH has been in the news lately. Um, uh, Not for good things, right? And then they lost their CEO a while back, and then after that they just had trouble, and then earnings weren't good, and then some downgrades, and all the skeletons are coming out of the closet. But it does seem to have found a low. It came up off that bottom, and now it's going totally sideways. So this actually, if you like oversold trades, catching that bounce, this could be a good candidate, and you could set a trigger, right, and go, what would be my criteria to show that it really is getting ready to move? Right? I wouldn't do it here because it's still going sideways. Right? I would want to see some evidence. Right? I like a high, higher low, new high. Right? Sonny is asking what my platform. This is sink or swim toss. All right. So UNH was a candidate. I would put that on what I call a watch list. It's like, oh, let me set, like here. I'll just draw a horizontal line, maybe. And I'll just set a level and say if it goes past this, I would really be interested in it. And I can put an alert and think or swim and go, text me if that happens. Okay. And I can put it on a list, just kind of keep track of it. Right. And space, I'll abbreviate and watch as it moves into the cloud. Absolutely. Now, on this one, this gap, I view gaps as potential resistance and the red cloud as potential resistance. So this wouldn't be the world's best um, uh, bullish trade for me. And Roy's asking, what are all the indicators you're using? Oh, I'll give a quick rundown. I have another slide. Let me hold that thought. I'll get to it. Okay. I'll show that. Because the main point was I'm going to come look at the stock on a chart. Just because Chat GBT said this was a good idea, I'll come see if it's a good idea. But let's say we did think it was a good idea. What else could we do with Chat GBT? Okay. Well, let's have it offer some trade setups or some option plays, right? So there, I just said, hey, what's a good option strategy for UHN? I blew it. And it caught my typo and it fixed it. For a bullish swing trade on United Health Group, good option strategy depends on your that Jeff. Thanks. Right. Long call. Just go by the long call. That's how I do it. Right. Just go by the long call. I like going one strike in the money. They're saying one strike out. Okay. 700 to 900 bucks. Straightforward. And it's giving you the pros and cons, right? So this is cool. Uh, bull call spread, right? So here's a spread. This has a net debit, right? So it's just a way of putting up less capital, max profit. That's what I really don't like about spreads is the capped um, profit. Cash secured put. So it's given some ideas, right? And maybe uh, you would come up with an idea here. You know what? I hadn't thought of that. And uh, this actually happened for me on a trade. And let's see. I'll just deviate a little bit because it's actually pretty cool, and it makes the point. Let's see about Cisco here, right? Um, would that be a candidate? Maybe. Um, so there's a ChatGPT actually recommended a strategy to me that I kind of fell in love with, right? And it is I don't know what your level of options knowledge. Some of you may go, yeah, 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 everybody knows that. Some of you go, what? It's a um, back ratio bullish call spread. Um, and it's a cool strategy. So you sell one in the money and you buy two out of the money. So the short funds it. And this you can even get these. You can set these up so you get a like zero cost or even a small credit, like a $5 credit. And this creates a position with limited risk, unlimited upside. Let me say those words again. Limited risk, unlimited upside. Now, your credit spread has limited upside, and not sure if you know, it has actually a large risk, sometimes 4 or 5 to 1. Okay. So limited risk, I can put up $5 or I can get a $5 credit, right? The amount I can lose is very, very small, and I have unlimited upside. That's a strategy I like. Okay. Uh, so Chat GBT returns some trade ideas. I come look at a chart and then I decide, do I like that trade? Do I want to put it on a watch list or never mind? Thing was full of it. All right. Uh, Again, hey, free ideas, new ideas, right? I got this my buddy on the computer here who's listening to everything and can give me some good ideas. And we actually got those ideas, PayPal, Twilio, um, Cisco, a couple others with that exact query that I that's on that spreadsheet and download. Now that was during a time when the market was oversold, so there was lots of candidates bouncing up the bottom. Okay, so let me show kind of what my workflow is here. So the first thing I do is I run a query on ChatGPT. I've got about five of them defined, right? Hey, oversold, swing trade candidate, short squeeze, then I review the list that's returned. I go put it on the chart on my charting platform. I apply my indicators. I run through my trade checklist, and I decide if I'm going to take the trade or I'm going to put it on my watch list. And the bonus step I showed you can have ChatGPT suggest. You can actually say, "Hey, what would be a reasonable stop? What would be a target? What would be a good entry?" Right? Give me some risk management. Again, use your own, but see what if it can teach you something. There may be something there. You go, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Don't take it blindly, but take it. Okay. And then, we can use those suggestions as starting points and perhaps as a learning thing, right? So somebody had asked a minute ago, what are the indicators on my chart? I use a simple version of Elliott Wave. I just look for um, trends beginning, impulsive moves, corrective moves, and then continuation. I use Dow theory, which is just higher high for an uptrend, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high for a downtrend. Moving averages, trend lines. I look at horizontal support and resistance, including gaps. Simple version of each Ichimoku cloud, and some drawing tools as needed, so you can see, right? This Cisco is actually a nice Elliott wave. This is a wave 3, 4, 5, and that's all I'm doing. You see all that other crazy stuff, right? All these micro, macro, sub. I don't do any of that, man. For this, I just go, hey, there was a big move. There was a correction that fell into a Fibonacci retracement zone, which are these green lines right here. I'm gonna get rid of these because this is getting cluttered. Okay. There was a big move. It corrected into the expected Fibonacci retracement zone, these lines, and now it's heading up. So this is wave 3, 4, 5. And then what's the target 4, 5? We just use Fibonacci extension lines like this. Click. And the extensions give you a target zone up here. And it's already kind of gone into it. It may have some left. That's it. All right. Simple, clean, easy, repeatable version of Elliott Wave. Looking for big moves, corrections, follow on. Okay. I use a simple version of Ichimoku Cloud, red or green. I got rid of Chiku and Tenkan and all that. I just want the cloud, right? The cloud is, it's a moving average. It's a different math than simple moving averages, and it's an interesting math. So I like it. It's moving averages, and is it red or green? And then I got moving averages. This is a 200 day, the bold one, and this is a 50 day. Those matter, I think. So that's my main analysis. And then I look for support and resistance areas, targets with Fibonacci levels, or prior highs, prior lows, prior reversals, gaps. Those can give us clues on uh, where price is going to go to, up or hit resistance or find support. So that is kind of the tools I use, right? And then I talked about a watch list. So I like to use a watch list. Very, very rare to hey, here's a symbol, bring it up. Oh wow, man, it is perfect. There's a perfect entry right now. Typically, it's like that would be a good entry if the following things happen. And so I walk them through a funnel, right? And I do AI and I do different scans with the tools. My customers, members of our live sessions, go, hey, what do you think of this? I read the news and then previous trades. And that goes into this funnel. It's like, okay, that's on the radar. We're going to keep an eye on that, like I said on UNH. And then maybe it gets closer. Well, hey, this one is really getting, this is going to be good. And then, hey, this is all the criteria is met. This is a qualified trade. And then I send out alerts and go, hey, this is good. And members have visibility to the whole funnel, right? They can see it and we go through it daily, right? So idea to execution, right? We track these trade candidates. So that's kind of my workflow. Um, and again, AI, Chat GBT is one of my inputs to generate trade ideas. And so this would be a good moment. What I'm going to do next is um, take your ideas. You type in some symbols, and you can start doing that now. Um, uh, and I'll look at them on my chart. Maybe we'll ask Chat GPT what it thinks about them as well. Let's have a little fun and see if there's some good trade ideas, right, from you or from the software. But we do this every day. I have a live we call it the Real Traders Club live session, where we identify trades, we analyze trades, we update trades, and then everything's posted on a premium Substack channel. And you get access to the watch list, and then the final qualified trades, you get alerts when those come out. So um, if you are interested in that, right, here's the service, right? It's the stock and option picks, called Real Traders Club, right? Qualified trades, real details, high conviction. Hey, these are great trades. You get to see the watch list as they develop, right? And when we do say, okay, this is a trade, this is go, man. Entry stop target, why are we taking the trade? And also a suggested option strategy for which contracts. And then ongoing updates. Hey, we're going to take profit, we're going to move our stop, and we're going to close the trade, right? You get access to the watch list, see what we're tracking before the move happens. Live sessions Monday mornings, right after the market open. We're there 30 to 45 minutes, right? You can catch the recordings on your own time. You don't even have to come. You can just watch for the updates and the list, right? But we discuss it. We do some training. We answer questions. It's just a place to come with real positive community. It is moderated, no trolls allowed, right? Place to come ask questions, learn from others, sharpen your edge, right? And it's a real community, right? And some folks have been members for years, and it's just good positive thing going on there, right? And you can bring your ideas. Hey, what about this? What about this? And um, myself or the co-moderator will look at it, or even other traders will jump in and go, hey, that's a good idea. So it's a good deal, right? And ongoing education. We just do some, or as the chart comes up, oh, hey, here's a really good thing to illustrate a concept. So that's a place to come continue to learn as well, right? So that's the deal. And speaking of a deal, David, you want to go ahead and post the link? I have a deal for you guys here. All right. So David just posted the link in the chat, and that page is here. It's going to take you to this page. So for a year of that service that I just outlined, the list price is 397. You can get a discount today, 249. So you save 150 bucks, right? For a whole year, right? So that's like 20 bucks a month. And if you hit that link, if you come to this page, you hit here, you're going to go to the order form, type in this promo code, AI-ROI, to get that discount. So I'd love to have you join. And so this is stock and options primarily on daily charts. So it is not futures, Dave. You gotta pick a focus, and this is what I like is stocks and ETFs, daily chart, primarily trading them through options. All right. Did anybody type in a symbol that we want to okay, there we go. We got a couple. First one was Gap. I believe this is the clothing company, if I'm not right. Gap Inc. Okay. I'm zoomed in a little bit here. They had a big gap, obviously, on earnings. Take a swim. Here's the earnings date. Forecast was 44 cents, came in at 51. Obviously, they gave some lousy guidance because they gapped down from 28 down to 22. It was huge. So let's look at a bigger picture, right? This is each one of these dashed lines is a whole year, right? So the last couple of years, this has been a choppy, kind of an erratic thing. This is a tough one to trade. So I'm not crazy about it. And this gap, I like things that, I like them to move, obviously, but I like there to be a little bit of order to it. And so this big run up and then this huge gap, right? And then there's some follow through. Um, you don't want to catch a falling knife. Is it going to go lower? I don't feel like I have an edge. And when I don't feel like I have an edge, then I pass. I just pass on it. So I don't like it. Ev Gray. And Steve, TLT, low risk long to 88.5. Let's see. Let's see what I said. 88.5, we're at 86. So you're looking at 88.5, which is not very far away. Let me just do this. And it looks like you're looking at this prior high right here as a resistance area. Just a quick guess. Yeah. So it's been in a downtrend, right? Low, lower, high, low, lower, high, low, lower, high, higher, low, just eked out a high. I don't know if you can see it. Um, it intraday got above a high, so that technically is the beginning of an uptrend. Okay, cloud's still red, right? The 50-day moving average is under the 200. We're in a long-term downtrend. Is it going to start an uptrend? I don't know. Let's go see. What um I would keep watching that personally. Love the volume on it. I love things that are highly liquid, right? They trade easy. But um let's see what they say. Support around 86.07. May buy offer a buying opportunity if tested. Resistance near 86.89, and the 50-day moving average is below your target. Um MACD has turned positive, maybe a shift, maybe some short-term bullish, remains below key moving averages, blah, blah, blah. So there's some interesting information here that you may, it may, depend on your rules, that may bolster your case or it may, oh, okay, I hadn't really thought of that. Never mind. So I think it's helpful, right? Again, um, don't just take it as gospel and, oh, yeah. I mean, use it as an idea. Okay, we got a few more. Dave is asking, do I do wheel strategy for options? So, by wheel strategy, my interpretation of that is basically it's a long-term buy and hold dividend. Most people that I know, do it on dividend stocks. It's like, hey, I got a great dividend stock, and what I'm going to do is, you know, uh, sell puts to get in, hold the thing, try to collect dividends, and then sell covered calls against it. Is that what you're talking about, Dave? And if so, I do that. Um, and I have a dividend course that's kind of separate from the swing trading where I talk about how to do that. And I like it. So, okay. Back to the list. So Uh, Space is asking about SOXL. And this is semiconductor 3X. So it's a leveraged ETF semiconductor space. With its volume, 146 million shares today. It's liquid enough for me. Um, what I like here, and let's just look, right? It's been, it's oversold, right? There's been pressure because of the whole tariff thing after the election, even from last summer, right? So it's been drifting down for a long time. Um, but it's found a bottom down here. This is a high, higher low, high, higher. It's in an uptrend. It's above the 50-day moving average. It's above the cloud. Each cloud has turned green. These are all really, really good things, right? It hit a little resistance right here at this high, right? Pulled right back off that. So if it gets above here, could be good, and you could just do a shorter term swing trade, right up to the 200. That is quite often um, a resistance area sometimes. Like look here, right? So, but going from 19.5 to 26.14, this would be $20 before it triggered, but 20 to 26, I'm good with that, right? And you can go buy just my option plan this maybe would be the back ratio call spread. That may work really good here. Um, or just a straight call, one strike in the money, a month out, make some good money if it wins. Always use risk management, of course, always, right? So with this, pretty much with anything in the market, but probably this, it's a 3X leveraged ETF semiconductor, right? Any kind of breaking news around tariffs, trade deals, and this thing's gonna um, move dramatically. So you need to build that into your position size, your risk management guidelines, but don't get your head handed to you on something like this. Steve wants to look at AUTL. Only bet the farm if you're willing to lose it. I'm not. AUTL, not sure what it is. Got good volume, 3.6 million. I call that a volcano, right? It's a big old sharp mountain, but it actually went to new lows. So I would consider this the potential of a new trend. Obviously, there was something bad going on here, and now coming up off that bottom. And if I have any flaw or kind of weak areas trader, I have many flaws. But, uh, I am loath to chase existing trends or to chase a leg like this, right? Because he's almost always, even if this is going to continue, right? This is a $2 stock. If it's going to go to $10, right? It ain't going straight up. Right? It's going to go in a series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? After a move like this, pretty good chance it's going to step back. So I'd wait for a, 2, 3, 4 bar pullback support, and then I would take it. And then I kind of like it then. An entry here, I think you have to sit through that at some point in the near future. So I'm going to pass on that one. Let's see. Gap is gappy. There you go, Space. Steve says Apple's going down. All right. Katie says, is it Chat GBT or GPT? Have I been saying it wrong? That's embarrassing. Chat GBT. GP. Look at this. I have a typo. Chat GPT. Thank you, Katie. All right. Steve says, is interest something I look at? Not sure what you mean by interest. I look at volume. Just, hey, how many shares trade on an average daily basis? I look at open interest on options. Typically, your highly liquid stocks are going to have good option open interest. But if it's thin for some reason, I don't want to touch it because, You can always get in, but getting out, thinly traded stuff, typically bigger spreads, you can kind of get hurt that way. Yeah. So all right, you're okay, good, good. GPT. Okay. That is a little embarrassing. Typo. All right. I was saying it wrong, but I use it right. So how's that? All right. Any other questions? I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up that offer. Would love to have anybody that's interested join. Like I said, it's good community. We got some good trades, got a good track record, and come join us. Bring your ideas, get some good trades, learn. All right. Ray, if I ever looked at a back ratio selling one $50 to buy uh, I haven't. So the back ratio one that I showed where you sell one buy two for almost zero or even a small credit. That's the one I've zeroed in on and really like. SMCI, oh, I'll look at that, Richard. It's a favorite. And it's favorite because it moves, right? And that obviously, all right. It makes big swings, but they're reasonably orderly, right? It's not chaotic. It doesn't just gap and move at random, right? But it moves in a big percentage way like that, right? From 25 to 65, right? Even these smaller swings, they're big. There's a gap here, there's a gap here, but it's not chaotic. And what I like right now, I found a pretty good base. There's a high, higher low. And now it took out this little high here. It's heading up. So this looks good long for me right now. Um, like right now. It's rare, like I said. But also the cloud's green. We're above the 200, right? So yeah, I like SMCI. Thank you for bringing me back to it because I usually look at it. All right. Hey, Myron, thank you. And I think, yeah, that's going to be a wrap. So thank you, traders, for your time and attention. I hope it was worthwhile. I hope you found it of interest, something you could use. If you're interested in the offer that I have, it would be great to have you join. We welcome you there. Two 249 for a year. So I think it's a pretty fair price. Um, and thank you, David, for hosting. I enjoyed it. So I think it's a wrap.
All right, yeah. Thanks, Dean. Yeah, great presentation, great education for everyone tonight. So thank you for being here with us. And yeah, for everyone listening, be sure to go to timingresearch.com/Dean, DEAN, timingresearch.com/Dean, and sign up for Dean's service. And it's very good value. Um, Only $249 to get started. So
Yeah.
check that out.
Don't forget the discount code AI
Yeah.
dash, oh, my promo code. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So thanks everyone for being here.
All right. Take
Thanks,
care,
Dean.
trade safe, and we'll catch you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dean.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.